आपने ये भी डिस्क्राइब करा कि ये it was also blown out of proportion, cannabis, in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, where you said that one of his cooks confessed, before Sushant sir committed suicide, I rolled the marijuana cigarettes for him 3 days, which were 3 days before, which were kept in a cigarette case in a cupboard. After suicide, the case was empty. This case of Sushant Singh Rajput committing suicide suddenly flung marijuana as a drug into national conversation. What was your coverage about this case? What did you sort of understand from this?
You could have asked me about the Israel-Palestine issue and it would be less controversial than this. This is a very, we were talking about this before we started. And
right.
The Sushant Singh Rajput case to do with, I found it, darkly amusing. Because I know that this is, we're talking about a person, at the heart of this, we're talking about a very tragic thing.
Right.
And people sort of lost track of the tragedy. They needed something or someone to blame. ये कैसे हो सकता है? This young, handsome, successful actor, like how could he be depressed? How is that possible? And they blamed X amount of things. They blamed his manager, they blamed his girlfriend, and they blamed, eventually a lot of the blame came upon his cannabis use, whether it was the joints he was rolling or whether it was the CBD he was using for his anxiety.
Oh, he was also using CBD?
He was doing CBD, and the CBD part also was then put under the scanner because people did not understand कि ये legal है. The CBD the Ria was putting into his chai or whatever, they made it part of the sansani thing that CBD भी कर रहा था. But CBD actually...
CBD कर रहे हैं मतलब क्या होता है?
Exactly. And what the funny thing is that there's an Indian sort of union of, like, it's called PIMCHA, and PIMCHA are responsible for the union of like hemp companies in India. And they said that after Sushant Singh's death, there was more positive interest in CBD than ever before in the months that followed. Because despite all the negative press, people did their own research and they realized, this is something that's actually can help us with our anxiety, stress, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But to go back to the Sushant Singh thing, like...
If you want to watch small segments of the podcast, subscribe to Dostcast Clips.
And I wrote about this in the book. Depression is a very complicated thing. Like, I am not a mental health expert. I'm not a doctor.
And you can't bypass it by just saying, it's a mere chemical imbalance, which is what some people do.
It could be so many things. Bachpan mein uska kya hua hai, mujhe nahi pata. What he's going through that time, what his health is like. There's so many other things. In some cases, yes, cannabis use and overuse and misuse of cannabis has known to cause extra stress and anxiety and depression. But in some cases, cannabis has also helped people in depression to get away from depression, So my point basically is that we should not jump into answers to blame one thing or the other. Like it's another human being's life. Yeah. And I think we should respect कि like... Now, मुझे ये ना underground वो नहीं पता कि इसके पीछे theories क्या हैं in the dark web of India.
Sure.
I'm just talking about what I know.
Yeah. Fair. I think it was blown out of proportion, and we still have a lot of like anti-cannabis propaganda in the country. Some reasons are rightfully so because वो बहुत lower level पर जाके it spiked and it causes all kinds of problems. But a lot of it is just the fear that what will the populace do? Because if you really think about it, extreme alcoholism, even for like highly functioning rich people, is a very bad symptom. Like there is a stupid trope, and वो बड़ा ऐसा cliche लगता है, but it is true that a stoner does not harm anyone, but perhaps themselves by smoking too much every now and then.